Hello and welcome to the Sterling Podcast. I'm Julia Williams, your host, and today I'm joined by three individuals. We've got Neil Sysum, Liz Duggan, and James Howard. And recently they've joined forces to create Sysum Howard Duggan Accountants. They bring decades of real life business experience, and they're here to help lots of different businesses, whether they are startups or high growth. So it's welcome, everyone. How are you?
Good to hear from you.
Excellent. So look, as I've just said, you've recently joined forces to create Sysum Howard Duggan Accountants. So tell me why.
Wow, that's a big question. Liz and I worked together for how long now?
15 years.
15 years.
I need a
Wow.
Yeah. 15 years. And we get on famously. We have done for a very long time, and it's really important to work with people that you like. You work with people that you trust, and to build really strong business relationships over time. So it was a natural thing for us to become partners in the same business. James has joined us very recently, and again, somebody we've known for a long time, and has been a great addition since he's walked through the door. Fantastic. So same thing, somebody we know, somebody we like, somebody we trust, somebody who's very knowledgeable.
So the question I want to ask you, is this something you've been thinking about for a long time, or did it just happen?
Pretty much just happened, didn't it?
Yeah. It felt such a natural thing to do.
Yeah, so Neil and I have known each other for a while. When I was at my previous place, we often reached out to each other, helped out each other. We've been part of the Sterling network for a long time, so known each other through that, and just always kept in touch, really.
Which is a great thing.
That's
right.
Yeah.
So now you've formed this partnership. Is there a gap or a client need that you're hoping to fill with this partnership?
Definitely. With what you bring, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we're kind of acknowledged, and like a lot of accountancy practices have, really, is the move away from the compliance side. So the compliance, the software is getting to the point where they can almost do it for you. Yeah, you've got to check it. Yeah, you've got to verify stuff. But the real kind of added value for professional services is the advisory side, which is predominantly what I did at my old place.
Right.
Working with all kinds of clients. Anyone that's open to seeing their accountant more than once a year. So that's the move. And then I think Neil acknowledging that that's where my skill set is, and then reaching out to bring myself in to then offer that here.
So look, let's take a step back. Can you each tell me, a little bit more about yourself, your background, and what motivates you in the business? Who's going to start?
We're going to nominate Liz.
I knew they were going to do that. Well, I'm not originally from Worcester. I'm from Stourport.
Right.
And I moved to Worcester 12 years ago when I met my husband. I'd always had an interest in accounts, and it was something that I did from leaving school, but then had a break and worked various different jobs. And then about 12 years ago, not 12 years ago.
Time flies.
15. I've been here 15, so I can be 12 years. About 20 years ago, I decided I wanted a change in career and decided that I'd start to look at moving towards accounts, and I enrolled in college, and Neil was my tutor.
No.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's all my fault.
It's all Neil's fault. So I started working 15 years ago in the payroll department, and everything's gone from there. I chose to do a qualification in payroll, so I've got a degree in payroll as well as my accounts qualification. But yeah, it's
That's amazing. but it also goes to show that, you're very well experienced in what it is that you do. So James, tell us a little bit about you. Don't be shy.
Yeah, so I went to Cardiff Uni, got to the point at the end of uni when I ran out of money, so I had to come back home. Came back home, back to just outside Evesham, got a job in a firm in Worcester, training, qualified with them. That firm then became Haynes Watts, and then Haynes Watts then became Cooper Parry. So seen completely grow from what it was to ending up in that corporate world. I did have a little loan spell out at another accountancy practice for about 18 months, and then effectively came back to Haynes Watts. Worked my way up, became a partner in April 2020. So right at the start of lockdown. So
I was going to say,
trying to run the team, lead the team from the back bedroom was interesting.
It was a tough time, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then and then joined up and started here 4 or 5 weeks ago.
And never look back.
Right.
So Neil, last but not least, tell us a little bit about you.
I had a very unconventional route to accountancy. I worked in the finance sector, so I was a loans and collections officer.
Really?
And at the time, I was very young. At the time, they offered free courses, and one of the courses they were doing at the local college was accountancy. And I thought, sounds interesting. I'll have a go at that. And I confess I did fall in love with it. It was amazing. I thought it was so inspiring, and I was never really great at maths, so it was a bit of a change for me to go into something that required those sorts of skills. And I found a niche and something I was really good at, and that was finding stuff that you couldn't really see. I mean, in accounting terms, we call it incomplete records. So it's the bits that you don't see. I just was good at it and I enjoyed it. I was also working in a payroll department at that point while I was training, and I moved away from the finance industry and worked in the sector. And at that point, I ended up going, while I was still at the college, I became a tutor for the skill set I had, which was unusual. Same with Liz. That in payroll, it's very, very different to accounts and has been for quite a long time. So I had experience in that. So I taught it while I was training as an accountant. And once I qualified, I then became a tutor at what was Worcester College, then became Howe College, and I looked after a lot of students. It's been really fun, actually, because over the years I still bump into them very often. It's hard to remember everybody's name, but they tend to remember mine. So it's like,
I wonder why.
Interesting to hear stories of where they've gone and what they've achieved, but also sort of cemented relationships with a lot of firms around this area, because of course it was the go-to place for training. And so there's a lot of students that work in, or former students of mine that work in firms all over the county that I know, and that got me in good stead with some of the other companies, because they knew where they were training and who they were training with, and it was good.
So Neil, I want to ask you, touch on that. What actually motivates you in the business?
I like to see a client succeed where one of two things. One, where they take on something new and it's a bit of a worry for them and they're not sure which way to go. And I love to see that through to a success. I really enjoy that. And I love to see businesses that come from nowhere, startups that are really going to have a go at something. And with experience of seeing lots of companies do it and lots of individuals do it over years, you can kind of see the potential pitfalls they might face and head them off at the pass. So I just love to see them succeed. It's brilliant. It really inspires me.
And Liz, what motivates you in the business?
Just to help people, really, because we have so many people say, "Oh, I don't understand payroll. I don't understand what you do."
Yeah, that's usually
It's like, if I can ease that stress from an employer, that's one less thing they have to worry about, then I'm happy. So it's and the fact that I understand accounts is, they ask me a question, and I do, because of my knowledge of accounts, understand where they're coming from with tax savings and things like that.
Which is a huge benefit.
It is, yeah. So the fact that I understand it, I think, really does help clients, with their decisions really on taking on new employees or expanding the business.
And James, what about you?
So kind of twofold really. So motivated in terms of here and making a difference and changes that can benefit the 15 people that we've got internally by growing the practice and just making sure everyone's got a voice, everyone's listened to, everyone's part of it. And then from a kind of client side, it's a lot of it's about relationships. So keeping them, making sure that our clients know who to go to, who can help them, and then making sure that person can help them and pull the right people in, and almost like someone said to me before, you're like the conductor for them. You can bring we can bring in the specialists, we can bring in the people that can get stuff done, and then get it done quicker.
Because it sounds to me as if you've all got very individual strengths which combine together to help your clients. What would you say they are, and how does it benefit the clients that you work with now?
There's two parts to that. One is the person, one is the skill. Clients respond differently to different types of people. Of course, people respond differently to different types of people. So the way in which we can explain things to a client is different depending on the type of client that it might be. So we're all versed. We all do it with clients. Is to make it understandable, make it digestible. Because sometimes it's complicated. It doesn't need to be. And you can use big words, and you can use all the technical stuff that you'd learn, or you'd be teaching, or all those, or you can just make it understandable and make it easy to get to. And we've all got different ways of doing that. But the skills in which we bring, dependent on who we are, is more valuable to them in what they're asking. So, as James was saying, he is really good at looking at what a client needs and pointing them at the right person. That might be me, it might be Liz, it could be one of our other team. There are members of our team that are extremely skilled in areas that more so than us, especially with younger members of the team where their technology skills probably exceed ours. So it's not probably, they do exceed ours. Therefore,
exceed yours,
exceed mine. Yeah, definitely mine. But it's thanks, James. And it's that the right person to speak to the right client with the right skill set, and we've got a big enough team to be able to. I like the word. I liked it to conduct that.
Yeah. And since joining forces, what changes or improvements have you been able to make to benefit your clients?
We've had internal and external benefits already. So external, you can do external.
Yeah, so I think from like I said earlier, the move away from the compliance side to more of an advisory, strategic partner kind of offering. That's starting to see more people interested in that. There's a few things coming next year with making tax digital, things like that people are going to need their accountants, and they're going to need their support a lot more. So just making sure that we're geared up for that. We've got the capacity in order to help with that. And then I think it's from speaking on Neil's behalf, really, but having someone like myself come in with a completely fresh set of eyes on pretty much everything will just hopefully just benefit what we're doing here, and then we can build on that and push it and really push on.
In that short space of time, we've experienced two elements. That's why I mentioned that it's internal and external. Those fresh eyes have been invaluable, because you can be blinkered to doing the same thing the same way, internally and externally. But the feedback we've had from the teams they've noticed a change, haven't they? Amazingly, the feedback from them has been, they're almost elated that things have lifted, and something James alluded to earlier about them being listened to and assisted in what they're trying to achieve themselves for themselves and for customers has been noted. And the feedback that we're receiving from customers in a very short space of time is exactly as we'd anticipated. That the offering that we've got, clients are coming to that straight away, going, yes, this is exactly what we need right now. We've been targeting this specifically to make sure that works. But the feedback they're giving to the staff has been equally as good. That they're attentive, that they're able to get back to people, they're having good quality conversations, and the right people are talking to them. So it's been quite a quick change, more so, honestly, than I anticipated, which is a good thing, great thing.
Well, it just sounds to me that you've got exciting times ahead. It's really exciting. Every accountant has their moments where they've given some advice and it has made such a difference to their client. Do you have any success stories that you can share? Obviously, don't name names, but is there anything you can share?
The subcontractor, roofer, there's one of our favourites in that is quite amusing. It was a client that's still with us today. They came to us because they were doing, I suppose, what the affectionate term would be as a foreigner. So they were doing a couple of jobs outside of the job that they were doing, and decided, well, they were advised by a good friend of theirs not to just sort of do a cash in hand job or those sort of things. Go and speak to me. They said, go and speak to Neil and let him get you set up properly and do it properly so you don't get in trouble with HMRC, and that you make sure you're doing it properly like you should be. And I sat down and had a meeting with him, as you would with any potential client, and it was about an £800 fee that he was charging. That was it. His entire invoice for the year was £800. That was the entire job. But he really loved it, and he's been a client 11 years now.
11 years, yeah.
And he deals with all of us, and his turnover is around 8 million now. Because he's just set up a wonderful business and become a very well-known name in Worcester, and done really, really well for himself. And it was all because he got the right advice on the day one for his 800 quid invoice he invoiced to his friend, before he was VAT registered, before he was limited, before he was even a proper company. But yeah,
it just shows you. It just shows you about getting the right advice, though, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you must see a lot of clients. What's the common challenges that clients face day to day, and how can they overcome them?
I find a lot of clients struggle with taking on employees. They never really know where to start.
Right.
They'll say, "Oh, I need help, but I'm not sure what to do and what I need to do to get employees. How do I register with HMRC? How do I do it correctly?" And that's just something that we can advise. Obviously, I do the payroll, and Neil and James sort of do the accounts as well. So we've all got something that we can bring to explain to clients what they need to do.
Excellent. Any other advice? Or
I mean, there's always the thing around like, I didn't know my tax was going to be that high, or my VAT bill has really caught me out by surprise, and things like that. So it is anyone that doesn't really understand the numbers or the planning aspect to it. I mean, cash flow forecasting is so important that it's those kind of things that people just don't, because you're so focused on your business and working in your business and going and getting the customers and dealing with your suppliers and stuff like that, things like that, unless you've got someone effectively in your corner looking out for you, you will have a big tax bill that you don't realise, or you've suddenly got no cash to pay your VAT and your PAYE and stuff like that. So things like that always seem to catch people out. We'll always have conversations with people around, can you next year we want to sit down with you earlier and stuff like that. So we just people need to get on the forefront with that kind of stuff.
We had feedback from a brand new client this week, and it was quite poignant to the question you've asked, because they got themselves a little bit of a pickle cash flow wise, and it's very common with the business. Businesses don't suffer because of the profitability, they suffer because of cash flow issues. And he had the same problem. A very profitable and very successful business, came to us as a new client, recommendation through Sterling, through the network. And he said, in the meeting, he said openly, for the first month in all the years I've been in business, I haven't had to use my reserve account because I actually knew where my figures were and I actually knew what was going on. And there were minor changes that we made to the way in which he does things, very minor, but so poignant for him to actually get a proper handle on his business for the first time. He's going to help us write it up as a case study because he's quite an excitable character, and he's quite animated. So it'll be quite interesting to hear from him in that respect. But just great feedback to what we're trying to deliver, and a customer comes back and says, "And you did exactly that for the first time in years." So,
and that's good to know, isn't it? It's good to know that you're helping people out there just understand their business just a little bit better, really, and it helps them grow effectively. So, Sysum Howard Duggan Accountants, what do the next few years hold for you? How can you see the role of accountants perhaps changing in today's business world?
ooh, that's you.
Yeah.
We know the answer to this. Yeah, we know where this is going.
So for the accountants, the accountancy environment, there will be a shift from the compliance work, from the set of accounts tax return just becomes a commodity to people. So the software is getting better. There's add-ons all the time in terms of being able to get your own accounts, your tax return, all that just done from the software that you're going to be using anyway. So then there's the move into like we said before, that becoming a strategic partner, becoming someone that you could ask to come and sit in on an interview with you, come to board meetings with you, that kind of thing, rather than just being someone that would just turn and churn the numbers.
Yeah.
That's where I think the big changes will be coming, and then whether or not accountants then look to go into other areas around HR or other things that potentially like that bolt on, because the traditional set of accounts will kind of drop off a little bit. And then obviously then you've got AI as well, which is going to be a big thing in terms of, like, because the system's already starting to build it in. So then you could then potentially look at doing that just from the AI stuff, but then you do need someone to interpret it. So you do need someone to sit with you alongside that, I think. And that's where we need to be on the forefront with that kind of stuff. And any technology changes, any obviously legislation changes, all that kind of stuff, but any of the technology changes, we need to make sure that we're there to then drive that through with the clients.
Over time and over the years, we've been in practice, and we've been trading since 2002, so it's not a small amount of time. One of the biggest savings that Liz and I have always got in is to use technology to save time. When we do that in the wings for clients, it means that we can be infinitely more cost effective because we're not wasting time. And the product that we sell is the time and the people that are here. So the more we utilize those things, the better off the client is for the services that we offer, for the price that we can then charge them. Very often we've trialed stuff. You with the year ends when they digitize the whole system. Liz was operating that a good year before it was even compliant.
right.
We'll very often deal with HMRC direct when they bring in new products. NTD VAT was the first one. We helped them test that product. Not very good, but we helped them test drive it and make sure it worked. And now at this point, the conversations we've had in our board meetings this week have been about James working on setting up the MTD systems ahead of time for clients that are going to need them in around 6 to 7 months' time. And we're putting the plans and the technology and the systems in place to do it now. And that's what's always been good for us. We can deliver it as opposed to be reactive to it.
So as we come to a close, I want to ask you, what's the one piece, well, what's the one key bit of advice you would give to business owners today?
I would say seek advice as soon as the idea comes into your head, and then at least you know what to plan for the future.
That's a good answer.
It's very good advice, actually, yeah. Because I think a lot of people don't do that, do they? Or they've got a fear of going to the accountants because they probably don't want to hear what they've got to say. But listening to you today, it's all about probably the education part of it and understanding and working with you, would you say?
Definitely. And we are people. We might be accountants, and there's the phrase people sometimes say, I've had to go and see the accountant. It's like they've had to go and see the dentist. Nobody really wants to go and do it. But if the relationship's right and we find that our clients, they can talk to us, we are people, we can help, and we can actually give them good sound advice at any point, whether it's new, middle, change, old.
And I think the one thing that stands out actually by talking to the three of you, you're very approachable. Like you said, you are people. You are approachable, which makes the world a difference, I feel, anyway. So tell me, what's the plans for the future for Sysum Howard Duggan Accountants?
Retiring.
Yeah, we're off. We have a new managing partner now. That's he's younger, better looking.
He's going to retire, and we're going to live off the profits.
Yeah. You're the S and the D.
So it's all over to you then, James.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Neil, Liz, James, thank you so much for spending your time talking to me today. It's been a real pleasure, and I'm excited about the future of Sysum Howard and Duggan Accountants. Really pleased. So see you soon. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.